This is Cloud's podcast, where Indigenous voices are heard and truths are shared. I'm Cloud, and together we'll journey through stories of resilience, joy, and healing. Cloud's podcast. Creating a space where connection and empowerment thrive. On today's episode, transformation takes courage. Today, Gary shares how life changes shaped him into who he is. Come on, let's go.
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. So today we're going to focus on personal stories, healing journeys, and support systems. So for the first question, what was your life like before you started your healing journey? And how did school play a role?
My life before my healing journey, well, I was into the mines, but with the money, like the income that you're making in the mines, and not knowing what to do, kind of feel like lost sometimes. You kind of get into the let's have fun state. You're 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off. You have all this like extra income, you're going to go somewhere and you're going to spend it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not save it.
Yeah, not save it. Yeah.
Having big chunks of money like that too, yeah, I feel like I was like, I got to do something with it, I got to spend it, and I had the same problem before.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, myself, I wasn't taught, like how to save money. It was pretty well like live check to check, you know what I mean? And like my mom, I was raised by like a single mother, so we did have our, struggles, but hey, struggle's the beauty of it, you know what I mean?
Sounds like similar to me and my story. Me and my little brother, we had our mom was single too, so she only took care of us, and yeah, she did everything she could, growing up. But then, once you're a young man, I believe you create your own choices too, to like rebel.
Yeah.
And make other choices you're not supposed to. So.
Yeah, you gotta have, I'm not saying you gotta have that rebellious, spirit, but when you're younger, you know what I mean? Who doesn't want to rebel? All the stuff that we grow up watching on the TV with the news and everything, like, you know what I mean?
Wanting to be like with the cool kids and do all this fucking other shit. So
yeah, and like literally, it's like all delinquency is what you see as entertainment, and you kind of want to like kind of want to have your fun. But
do you think trauma was like a part of not taking the right path?
Absolutely, honestly, like yeah, trauma definitely did play like a significant role in like me kind of going down the left lane, if you want to call it, because there's the right path and then you got the left path. The left path is the easy path where you make all the bad choices, and then you got the right path it's going to be a long and treacherous journey, but the right path is where you'll, eventually find financial stability and, get support, and the people in your life, are down that right path.
Do you think school was like a help to finding the right path and taking the right path? Or did you find taking the right path came from somewhere else?
Taking the right path, it did kind of like, school was a big part of it because, I, like in the mines, a lot of the people you work with, they're like, a lot of them are drug addicts, not gonna lie. And like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, if some of the people, they struggle with addictions and they go to like rehab facilities like 5 or 6 times, you know what I mean? And then they get their strikes. It's just like, I grew up in a mining town, and
Where is this actually?
I grew up in Thompson mostly, Thompson, Flin Flon area, but I'm from Lynn Lake, which is also a mining town.
Yeah, I know where it is.
It was founded mining, so yeah.
One of my buddies, his name is Daryl Johnson. I met in jail back in 2016. Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy.
And then I was young. So,
at 19, yeah.
At 19, and this is when I started like working at Valet. So I kind of did go off like, I went on my benders, I had my fun. I was like, we're on rotations, 4 weeks on, I mean,
How long did you do that for?
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Oh man. I've actually been in active addiction for was from 2022 till 2008. That's like 14 years, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, on like ecstasy, coke, meth, lots of alcohol, psychedelics.
Yeah, that was like honestly like the like MDMA was like flooding through like the high school I was going at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Ecstasy, all those ones, man.
Yeah, it was bad.
Molly.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And you think you're so cool doing it, like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, true, man. Like all the house parties and all the like raves and stuff. Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember those days just like it was yesterday.
yeah, being a hedonist, just looking for the thrill, looking for pleasures.
Always, hey?
Yeah.
Was there a specific moment or event that made you realize you needed to make a change?
Yeah, I got honestly, I got into an accident a few years ago and like I froze and I lost my toes. And yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, no, I literally
Where was this?
It was on the highway.
Okay,
Yeah.
like around here or north?
North.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to recover?
Oh man, I'm still recovering.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I can walk a lot better.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like honestly, I was in the hospital for like a month and a half. And, I did get a second chance, man, honestly, dude. And like none of the doctors told me that. No, it was the elders, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
man,
like our
fucking-
spiritual healers, you know what I mean?
Heard, bro.
Yeah.
The ones that fucking care.
Yeah, the people who care, you know what I mean?
Not the ones that just want your money and think you're just a patient and there you go.
Dude, seriously, man, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What were some first steps you took towards healing?
Leaving friends,
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm.
going down my own path.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's got to be your own family too. You gotta,
Word, bro. Oh,
yeah, you gotta
man.
yeah. It's hard. Like, you can't change someone. Yeah, you can't change anybody. It's literally that change has to come from their self, their own human being. Like, we're all spiritually human beings at the end of the day.
And we
Yeah.
get choices too, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we can make a choice to do everything, or nothing.
Yeah.
So that should explain a lot, and a lot of people learn and a lot of people don't, or some just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Straight
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the mental attitude that they have.
up.
Like,
Mhm.
I don't, you know what I mean?
They're acting petty towards themselves, to
Yeah.
be honest, or being selfish to themselves.
They don't love themselves.
What role did family, friends, community play in your recovery?
My family did help a lot. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, my family were like involved, but also like it was more community and pretty well just alone time. Because I was like immobilized for at least 6 months. I couldn't do anything. And it was pretty well just find myself. You know what I mean?
And sometimes, like, for me too, like, I always thought I needed families, friends, and community to help me. But at the end of the day, I knew it was me being isolated and coming up with all the solutions and then putting actions toward them. That's what it came down to, man, and at the end of 2022, when I stopped doing drugs and alcohol and wanted to come to school, that's what it came down to. Me being at home broke with absolutely nothing, bro.
Yeah.
And just, that's what changed me,
Yeah.
being alone.
Yeah, for real.
Mm-hmm.
And like, also I do, they're all like, there's my boxing friends. They helped me a lot too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Like-
Was there like a specific program or a specific organization that really helped you? And by you mentioning that, so
The boxing community here.
yeah,
Yeah.
at Peak Performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, those guys, like, they got heart of gold, man. Honestly, dude.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a project that was done here a couple years ago with one of the students did a documentary on them, and I got really interested in them, but I haven't had time to go there and actually, I should go there, bro. I need to punch a punching bag. I need to learn some new techniques. I need more discipline in my life. So
Yeah, like when I first moved here, that's like was my first outlet when I moved here when I was 23. And I was going to go to like the boxing club, but then my friends like, "No, let's go over here." Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm glad I made that choice. Cuz yeah,
it's good, bro.
beautiful spirits.
How do you handle moments of doubt and difficulty?
I like to listen to motivational videos, and it's got like
Anyone specific?
Steve Harvey.
Okay.
I love listening to the guy. Like, you know what I mean? He's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
Family
comedian.
Feud?
Yeah, Family
yeah,
Feud.
Yeah.
I listen to
Classic.
a lot of him, and then there's David Goggins,
Oh yeah.
and I got like an
What about Andrew Tate?
Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Not really.
Not really.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard some of his stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, he's not like, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
But like, you know, it's like all these people, like Steve Harvey, like he literally lived in his vehicle for like a few years.
I remember listening to that documentary or that film of him explaining his story and all this and that and who he is going up against, you know. So and he overcame.
Yeah.
So,
And like he like those like like he had his own moments of doubt, or like his family tell him, why don't you why don't you quit the comedy and just come home, get a real job. You know what I mean?
yeah. It sounds
Pretty
like the
well.
people that really don't believe in you, eh?
Yeah.
Are the ones that, you know, get you to go.
Yeah.
Like, what? For real? You know?
And like another line that he says, like, if you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. You know what I mean? Pretty well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's like when you tell someone something and they change the topic or talk or like tell a story that somebody else did better, or, you know, listen to this instead. You know, I think those are like low key haters, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I think those type of people I don't talk to anymore or tell anybody anything, because if they can't see it, you know, then fuck, man. Why am I telling them?
Yeah, exactly, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to raise your vibrations. You know what I mean?
Bro. How many people have a story about hitting a low point or facing a challenge with substances that led them to reevaluate things in their life? And if you're comfortable sharing, do you have a moment like that you wouldn't mind talking about? Like your lowest point, bro, or you had to face challenge with any type of substance, alcohol, drugs, you know, and something that just really just, you know, like, and if you don't, that's fine, bro.
Like, honestly, I went to rehab on my literally my 22nd birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I kind of like, you know, I did yet, like, you know, I was doing like lots of drugs. Like it was stupid. One of my friends, her like his girls, like his girlfriend worked over at the, like, one of the bars. And I came to I came to the bar one time and she's like, Gary, man. I'm like, what? Like, your face is starting to thin. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And yeah. And that was like, you know what I mean? Like, I treated, like, you know, I didn't treat myself with respect. You know, I didn't have respect for myself. You know what I mean? But so that's what happens when you feel like, you know, when you feel like you're not loved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where the self-love really, like, you know, you got to, like, speak kindly to yourself, like, behind clothes, like, you know what I mean? You got to be like, hey, come on, get up. You didn't come all this way for nothing, you know what I mean? You have to talk, like, you have to talk good to yourself. It's pretty well, like, you ever see, like, hear the study of a person who takes 2 cups of water. 1 cup, you speak bad to it. And then there was the other cup where you, like, you know, you say good things about it. And the cup that, like, the person was speaking bad to, it started to, like, you know, dust and, like, started to look gross, like stagnant water.
Yeah.
And then there's that other water. It was pure. You know what I mean? It's literally like, you know, we're all like, that water, it's life. It's like we're 70% water, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're going to want to speak good to yourself at the end of the day. Like, that's,
You don't want to mud your water on your own by yourself.
Yeah, well, you get enough of that. We suffer enough, you know, from oppression. Us Native Americans, like, we're the most oppressed in this, you know, on this continent, Turtle Island, you know what I mean?
Us First Nation, Indigenous, you know, Native American people, we all seem or come off really not connected when we meet each other. We all come off like mean mugging, or we shut down, or, you know, it's hard to kind of like initiate a conversation just normally, you know, like, how are you doing today? You know, well, what's going on? You know, like, where did you come from, or anything like that. It always comes down to, like, over periods of time, then we can finally, like, break the ice and say, hey, what's up? You know, I think that's has to do with, you know, what happened back in the day, man. Straight up. I think I think that takes effect on us these days. You know, I think I come off awkward, bro. Sometimes, you know, when I'm talking to people. For real, bro. And it's like, oh, but I know at the same time, like, fuck, man, I'm in media and communication, so I have to learn to talk, bro. What message would you share with someone who feels like they can't escape their current circumstances?
Never give up on yourself. Keep on going. You know, you're like, just don't give up. You know what I mean? There's always gonna be people. There's always gonna be somebody there to talk. You know what I mean? Negatively, but that's just, you know, it's not your fault. Some people don't love themselves sometimes, and they gotta bring that energy on to other people.
So we're at the ending of the podcast. Do you want to send some shout outs to anybody?
Shout out to my mom, you know, 'cause she's a saint. Shout out to my grandma, my grandpa, and shout out to all those people that need a shout out to. I don't know your name, but you're a good person, man.
We're here.
You
for
deserve
Indigenous.
respect. Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay here.
Yeah, for sure, man. To the end.
Yeah.
We're gonna be the first peoples, and we're gonna be the last peoples.
Exactly.
Heck yeah, bro. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for having me here. Appreciate it.
All right. Good night, everyone. Episode 2.